Welcome, everybody. Big sigh, big sigh. So, as I said, haven't been on for the last few days. It's been kind of good morning. Hey, Jillian. Morning. Hey, Declan. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon. Almost afternoon. It's like 10 minutes to noon where I am. So, welcome, everybody. Excuse the hair. It's just um kind of crazy right now. And so, hold on, somebody just keeps there you go. I'm just gonna stop her from there you go. The text coming in. So, welcome everybody. It's been a crazy few days spiritually, and I find that gosh, well, I mean, it's I don't know. I'm not one to like I hate saying, "Oh, because of the accident," and making a mountain out of a molehill. That's really I don't like doing that. And when I see people doing, like using that, sometimes using that as a crutch. But I do have to say, because of the accident, um, my moods and stuff have been quite interesting, and how I've been reacting to things and sensitivity and stress levels, anxiety. And it doesn't help that of course we had crazy full moon. We had the summer solstice. We are going through a some more solar flares. And the thing is talking about the solar, okay, my mood is my mood. It's just going to be erratic for a while. Um but the solar flares, and we've been having X class, which we are like the highest of solar flares. Now, when I think we've had over 70 since the beginning of the year, like this is why we're having the aurora borealis and stuff being seen and stuff. And since we've had these, I mean, we didn't even have many last year. I don't think we had any last year. I'd have to look that up. But this year, it's just even I mean, they're talking about space weather, right? They've never talked about space weather before, but they're talking about the space weather today, and that's because of the effect it's having upon this earth. It's just this opening up of these new portals, this new frequencies that are coming down into earth, and it's shaking things up. Plus, we're going through a photon belt that, first time in 12,000 years that we've gone through this. We haven't gone through this, give or take 500 years. So that's bringing in this huge transformation and changes within our DNA and changes within the synergies within us to be more crystalline, right? So that's why you find a lot of people getting into crystals and working with crystals, because it's that crystalline energy that's coming up within us and that being activated. So we are heading into some real just fabulous energy. I mean, it's a very loved based energy, very much, when you combine Buddha and Jesus together, that's what you get, right? So it is a huge um push in coming into learning how to create with love. And that's a big one. Learning how to create with love. Now, in doing so, we're going to be going through a hullabaloo of nuttiness in the next coming while. The reason this is all coming about, it's getting us to say, hey, I don't want that, I want this over here. I don't want to be connected with that group, I want to be connected with this group. This is why you find that, the craziness of Hollywood, like we're seeing the whole dismantlement of Hollywood. The stars are basically falling. um when you watch Netflix or or Prime or whatever the other subscriptions there are, sometimes you just like, oh my god, it's all the same. It's not grabbing my attention, it's not grabbing what I am doing. That's why when you watch different content creators, because you're seeing something of real life, you're seeing a connection with a real person. And it's not like TMZ or TLC that brings you, things about, hey, Lexi, welcome, that bring you, and you're not late. I've only been here a few minutes. It's like, the Kardashians or whatever. That's all fucking staged. That's not real. When you watch those other ones where they have to live in the Bachelorette or the Bachelor, or what's the other ones? Anyways, any of those so-called live or real, we know that everything is staged. But when you watch, say, a content creator, so I'm going to throw out one, the German in Venice. Now, I go watch him. I mean, he's on YouTube, the German in Venice. He's a big German guy who lives in Venice. And he's been in Venice Beach for a number of years now. And he video logs just different things. I mean, during the pandemic, he was, going through and showing all of the homeless people in Venice at the time. He shows you the cleanup, the cleanup that they did. He also does different things, like those apartment buildings that are in downtown LA that were being graffitied and stuff. And the craziness that happened with all of that graffiti, people just, I mean, they're high rises, right? And these are abandoned apartment buildings worth billions of dollars, that is not far from where they play basketball. I don't know where that is, but it was across the way where they play basketball in LA. And he does these certain things, right? And in doing those things, um it's just real life. Plus, he's funny. He wants to make you laugh, right? In his unique way. That's what people are drawn to. Humans, right? They're drawn to, like, yeah, that's the type of energy I want to be with. One of the reasons I watch the Chateau, some of the Chateau stories, um, it's because it's real life. And you know, watching, Chateau Diaries, and Stephanie and Philip and everybody there, they're real. Like, she's just showing the things that happen in the chateau. She's not trying to flaunt, look at me, I live in a chateau, how luxury this is. No, she's like, holy crap, the ceiling's falling in, what are we going to do now, kind of thing. The restoration of the chapel, and the amount of money she had to raise to do the restoration of the chapel. Like, it's the realness, it's the connection, and that's what you want to connect to. And that's what I'm finding, that's what people want. They want real. They don't want, you could sit there and watch a movie and you're just like, oh my God. I think when you see Bridgerton, and I know that that's a huge series right now. I watched it, but there's something about it. It just allowed you, in the creating of it, it was really good content. It was really well done. And that's the thing, is that's what I think people want. If you're going to entertain me, because human beings love to be entertained. We can go all the way back to the Greeks, to the Romans. They love to be entertained, right? The Colosseums weren't just used for lions. If you go underneath the Colosseum in Rome, they will show you where they had different stages that would come up, different things that would come up. Sometimes for, when you're throwing the Christians to the lions, but that was one entertainment. That was a form of entertainment. I mean, it was very violent and grotesque, but you know, um, you look at some things that are on TV right now are violent and grotesque. But they had different plays that would be being done, so they'd have different sets that would be coming up and down. So it was quite beautifully illustrated. So the thing is, what I'm trying is, like, with this newness, or this frequencies that are coming in, and the synergy that's coming in, is really getting us to change and really getting us to align. Now we wonder why, like, we're like, for me, I'm gonna focus on me for a minute, just saying. So the accident, why is that happening? Like, why? I mean, out of all the things, I mean, I wasn't wasn't doing anything. I wasn't even driving crazy that day. I was just I was actually going slower than you should be on a residential. I was going 30K. And you just, oh, why is this all like happening to me? What's going on? But there's something there that's getting you to really realign and relook at what it is that you need to look at in your life, and how you have to come into it and say, well, no, I need to create this from love. I need to create this from a higher perspective than where, and sometimes that's a real mind fuck, right? It's a real mind fuck, because your mind is wired, because of the world that we live in, for certain things, to do things, to create things. And this is where we can get into a, like, no, I got to do it this way, I have to do it this way. And this is where, again, with the universe and source and the divine and God and the goddess, where you step in and say, no, you know what, I need to realign, I need to refocus, I need to really come into a place of, and the word synergy just keeps coming in, so that I'm able to create something. The thing is, the crazy thing that's coming forth is with this, with Pluto entering into, who's going to be entering into Capricorn on September the 11th, I believe it is. Funny date. That it's, in this it's this last time, because Capricorn's all about from the powers up down, right? That's what Capricorn is. It's like the authority. In back in the day, it was the monarch, it was the lords, this is, I am the lord of the land and you have to do what I say. If you ever watched William Wallace, in the time of William Wallace, William Wallace was a Scottish warrior, and who really stood up against the landlords, and stood up against the tyranny of the time, against the Brits. But the thing is, one of the things in that time, I am the lord of the land, and before you can lay with the wife that you just married, I get her first. That was the law, right? So the law of the land. And so, of course, people rebelled, and at that time, that was like 300 years ago, right? Those things that happened were in a time, was actually more than 300 years ago, because it was 1500. So 3 4 600 years, six more, anyways, five, yeah, anyways, a long time ago, during that during that time. But that's the whole thing, is that people were like, no, I'm not going to take it, I'm not going to take that, right? I'm not going to take that, because you're up here, it's going to be me, right? This is where, with especially with this, we're going to see a lot of truths, a lot of unveiling and separation that's going to come within our world. As I've always seen boundaries changed. I've always seen where, you think everything's going to stay the way it is. You're going to think that the way our provinces are, that's the way our provinces are going to change, are going to stay the same. Things are shifting, things are changing. People are not wanting to have that control put upon them. And that's where the revolution comes in, right? And right on, Dana. I bet you just feel like, that's just beautiful. That's just beautiful. And doing a reconciliation. That is wonderful. So this is where we're going to be seeing a lot of things change. Like, Texas is going to be a really big one to watch, because I'm going to say that, with Texas leaving the states, they already have their own laws and their own ways. And that all has to do with the eclipses and the X through Texas, right? And then we're going to see other states start to leave, start to, create their own kind of thing. So we're going to it's part of that change, it's part of the revolution. This is where, because when it goes back into Aquarius is about youth. It's about innovation, it's about newness, it's about connecting. It is also scientific, so it wants to bring in that connection, but it's youthful. It wants to bring in that youth. Right now we have the oldest and the second oldest running for presidency in the states. Why is the focus so much on the states? Well, one, they are the Rome of the day. They are the England of the day. They are the rulers of the world right now, whether you like it or not, or whether you believe it or not. They are. Our currency is based on their currency. So they are the ones, right? So, and they're having their Pluto return, so they're having their disruption and dismantlement. And you got to, when you go back to that time in that era of 1776, it was where they decided not to listen to the powers of up here. I'm not listening to them. I have the power. I want to become a republic. French Revolution, 1777. French Revolution comes in. Out of that grew Napoleon. Napoleon was youthful. Like, he wasn't old. He was a young guy who rose from the ranks all the way up to being the emperor of France at a very young age. He was innovative. He was egotistical, a little bit of an asshole, but he was brilliant. He was smart. He knew war. He caught on to things. He saw things in a different way. That's the energy that's coming in. That's the synergy. Not saying Napoleon, but I'm saying that synergy of innovation, of newness and youthfulness. It is the youth that is coming in. And the youth are going to be the Pluto and Capricorn. Not the millennials, not the Gen Zs. It's going to be the new ones. It's going to be the Pluto and Caps. Those are the ones that are going to come in. And then the Pluto and Aquarius is the new innovative synergies, the ones that come in that bring in the new creativity, the ones that come in that say, okay, you know what, I don't want to live that way anymore. I want to live over here. I want to have this type of frequencies in my life. And the difference between 1777 and today is that they didn't go through the photon belt. They didn't have as many X class solar flares hitting the earth. So that is bringing in another frequencies, another synergy of enlightenment, of coming into the higher self, of coming into that new consciousness, the Christ consciousness, if you wish to call it, and coming into that place where we are able to connect with one another. When will that happen? Probably 2027 or so. I know they keep on throwing out that 2030 date, and I just laugh at them. It's just like that. Sorry, it's not in alignment with the divine and the universe, and that's the whole thing, because that's man-made. That's a man-made idea, and there's the frequencies that are coming in are just like, you can say or be or think what you want, but this is the change that's coming in, and through it we have to have chaos. We have to have destruction. Because if we don't have the chaos and destruction, then we're not going to change. We're not going to come in and be more in a harmonic way. But unfortunately, we're going to have that nuttiness first. So crazy things will happen in our life. Things that are unexpected, things that we don't want to happen, like an accident or somebody hitting us. We don't want to have somebody possibly dying, or the rug to be pulled out of our from under our feet. But there is such a higher understanding of all of this that's bringing us to a higher place, so that we are able to create even more, right? And come into that creation even more. So hopefully that makes all sense in everything. Oh my goodness. Hello, Roxy. You outside? Roxy's outside. She's looking at me. She's like, But mom's inside and you're outside. And I want to be inside, but I want to be outside at the same time. She's a chihuahua. She's a chihuahua. That's just crazy, man. So, couple things. My sale is still on till the end of June. So the sale is still on where you one reading $100, two readings 150, three readings 200. That is on till the end of June. We have the astrology club will be starting again. This month will be ending next week, and then the following week we will have um, July Astrology Club starting up. So if you wish to join the Astrology Club, let me know. It's $75, and we'll have and I know it's summertime, and I know people are traveling and they're doing all their kind of stuff. Fine. Um, it doesn't have to stick to sort of a set day. We can sort of go with the flow like summer. And then, that's for July and August, $75 each. And then we'll go into September and back to sort of a set routine. So if you're wanting to join the astrology club, definitely come in. It is a lot. And sometimes you're going to find that each month I'm kind of repeating myself with a lot of things. But I find that in it with astrology, it's like something that you might have, okay, I took this one class, but then you have to go back over it and over it till you understand it. Because astrology is understanding the geometry within the synergy of the movements of the planets and how that dance of the planets have upon your chart and upon the world, and how that affects within our own selves, and how those frequencies come in and get us to look at things in a new way, feel things in a new way, change the way that we do, and the outlooks of our own world. So there you go. Whew. Let's bring in some cards. What do we have? We got the fairies today, and we got the Three of Autumn. So it's following your passion when it comes to your career. Follow. So this is where it's coming in, to follow your passion. Be the best at what you want to do. So what is your passion? What do you love to do? And that's part of your dharma. So that is paid or unpaid. It is the Three of Pentacles, right? So the Three of Pentacles comes in, and it's like people are noticing, what do you do? What do you love to do? Like, put your passion into it. And sometimes, with that, fear will come up, doubt will come up, feeling, oh, well, somebody else does it better than me. But here it's saying that you got to trust. There's a passion. There's a blessing in what it is that you love to do, and step forward with that. And as you do, in comes the ego. See the ego. So the ego, it brings in the traps. You want to go and you want to come into your passion. Well, the ego will step in, and I'll say, getting caught up in the fear and the worry. Oh, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. Which way should I go? What should I do? And this is so important for you to really sort of take the step back, take a deep breath, right? And as you take that deep breath, you're going to find the renewal. So two major arcana cards are coming out. The ego is the Tower card, right? So the Tower card comes in because you're afraid, and you're questioning everything, and you're not putting your faith into the higher source. You're not putting that and handing it over to the divine and saying, you know what, let me walk in, take me, guide me. I can't do this. And that's with every single thing that we're doing, right? It's not just with one thing, it's with everything. And then with that is that review the past and the present so you can plan for a bright new future. Understand, everybody has a life purpose. So the renewal card comes in. The renewal card, look at, he has a little bunny there, which is knowledge. He has the fae there. He has the little gnomes there, the butterfly, and he's writing things down, information coming down. Allow for that. Allow for that information to come through so that you're able to, and releasing the judgments upon yourself and upon others, right? Everybody's coming from a different place. Everybody's coming from a different point of view. Honor that. Say, okay, I get that. Right. You know, there's craziness that's happening in the world right now. Yes, war is coming up to its height. Closer than we've ever been before in our lifetime. So war is imminent. It's there, but through it, it needs to happen so that we can awaken, right? And as we awaken, mm, we have to celebrate. There's deep feelings that come in. And these deep feelings that are coming in are going to bring in the peace and contentment within our life. The Four of Springs is a celebration. You have the four wands there. You're coming together with people, with like minded people, bringing in and coming together and really allowing yourself to connect with that truth of who and what you are. I don't know what time it is, but in they've been doing a meditation every Sunday for 15 minutes. And so I think you can do it at any time because all the different time zones and everything else. But they're starting there's a group of they've been just putting it out there. And I got to remember this woman's name. So I got to go back and look that up too. But where she has proof that when they've been doing these meditations, how things have changed. So if our focus is to bring in peace and harmony in our life, so right, yeah. So in bringing peace and harmony into our life, so let's for instance, so I'm going to say tonight at 7 o'clock, whatever time zone 7 o'clock is for you, right? So whatever time zone 7 o'clock is for you, for 15 minutes. So you set a timer for 15 minutes. And tonight, for 15 minutes, to focus on the love and the abundance that you have within your world. So for 15 minutes of being thankful and grateful and coming in, there is no leader, nobody leads it. This is just you taking that time. Go sitting out in the backyard, go in, have a bath, go in, maybe you're going to have a shower, maybe you're going for a walk. It's taking that time for 15 minutes, right? Yes. In the Second World War, what they did that. So they might have done, I don't know about the First World War, but I know in the Second World War, the cone of power over Britain. And that was one of the big things because there was a coven that went into the forest and they tried to find the coven, but they could never find them. And they would come together and then they sent out sent it out to others and say, this is when we're going to be meeting, light a candle or do a silent prayer. This is what we're doing. And that changes the course. That changes the power. So tonight, 7 o'clock, 15 minutes, wherever you are, whatever time 7 o'clock is in your world, come together and just take a 15 minutes, set a timer, and just come together and bring forth gratitude, gratefulness. Right? Starting off very simple. We're bringing in the gratitude because if you're grateful for all that you have in your world, if you're grateful for the Holy Spirit and the divine love of the Lord and the Lady to come into your world, that vibrates out. You're the drop in the pond that starts the ripple. You're the drop in the pond that starts the ripple. So let's begin to start that ripple. All right. So may the Lord and the Lady watch over all of you, through you, with you, and in you, and around you, and all that you say, and all that you be, and all you do. Have a blessed day today. And go forth and shine your light. Shine your light. All right. Oh, yeah. Blessings be everybody. Have a great one. And we will talk to you all tomorrow. Goodbye.